Fuller's is really passionate about creating an environment where everyone feels they can belong. And as part of that, we want to do a bit of a spotlight on the employees that we have in our business that have intellectual disabilities. And Stuart has been doing some amazing work over the past few years. And my hope is actually that lots of other GMs will look at this video and want to follow suit. So you as mum, we're really keen to hear about the barriers that you probably have faced over the years and how you've overcome those and how you've seen your son grow since being with us at Fuller's.
I can't tell you, it's been huge. Stuart is a legend. Jonathan is so much more confident and he's grown in so many different ways as a result of being here. I never ever imagined that he'd be so happy in a working environment. I actually didn't think he'd be able to get a job, actually, if I'm honest. His school weren't very ambitious for him, so I felt I didn't know what the future was going to be. It's a massive worry for all parents with a child with disability. But he just trusts you, and you've given him an environment that suits him. And part of that, for example, is that Jonathan can't do very long shifts, so he works for 2 hours, which a lot of employers can't offer them. So it's ideal for him. It starts at 12, so he doesn't have a very early start, and that can be very stressful for him. He gets such a lot of support from all the staff members. You make him feel so welcome, and it's a very special environment for him, which is unusual because growing up, if you've got a child with disabilities, you often feel like an outsider, and I feel like you've given him a place in the world, which is massive. Massive for him. He's got, when Jonathan's been to a special school from the age of 3, he had no speech really until he started talking in sentences when he was about 7. He only had about 20 baby words at 5. And his behaviour was shockingly bad because he was so frustrated and he didn't understand the world actually. And part of that was sensory overload, which is quite common with autism. So an environment like this as a child would have been very tough for him. All the different noises and the sounds and the smells and the people and he would have really freaked, quite frankly. But I think what you've done is found him a niche that suits him, and I think that all the training that you did for him and it really helped him to feel comfortable. You really listened to what his needs were, so he's not disabled in this environment. You've enabled him, which is really powerful.
And actually that's a really interesting point. So for those who probably don't know a lot about intellectual disabilities, because I'm actually new to learning so much about it and it's just so vast, could you probably talk us through a little bit around the telltale signs of someone who's autistic? What is autism?
Oh right, well gosh, it's described as it's a theory of mind, so they often can't understand other people's perspectives. There's often an issue with sensory overload with processing, so all the senses can become overloaded. In Jonathan's case, he found sound, smell, distance, so people coming up too close. He doesn't like to be touched still, except if he's in control of it, as it were. But if somebody accidentally touched him, it would be really difficult for him. He likes to do the same thing every day. Any change to his a timetable, or to even if you said to him, if he was making a cup of tea and you said go and do something else, he couldn't turn the ship round to do that. So I think what you've done here is to give him a list of jobs that he can do and work through, and you don't pressure him, you don't change that at the last minute. He knows exactly what's what every day, and I think that's why this environment turns out to be really good for him, which is fascinating. I wouldn't have thought it when he was little, because as I say, the sensory issue. Jonathan's got a learning disability as well, so that means he can't add up to 10. He can't do the till work, for example. He can't process time very well either. So there's lots of planning issues. That's quite common for somebody on the autistic spectrum too. So he does struggle also to read people, and he takes things very literally. That's quite a common difficulty for somebody with autism. But I think also we have to celebrate the fact that what he can do as well. And I think that's what's been the problem for him, is that we've always looked, rather the school certainly did, but I think we have to be more ambitious around what they can do, and put them in environments that gives
where
them
they can thrive.
where they can thrive, which is what's happening.
Absolutely.
And it's not too difficult, which is what. And mind you make it look easy, Stuart, to be fair.
Well, I don't know about that. But we've learned so much from him. That's of course, absolutely.
That's wonderful.
On being able to work with anyone, actually, whether they've got an intellectual disability, autism, an SEN, whatever it may be, we've learned. And Jonathan's taught us so much. You know, you talk about the literal, and actually I remember one of Jonathan's first tasks when he said to me, "Where do I chuck the rubbish?" And I said, just open the back door and chuck it out the back, because that's where the bin was. So he opened the back door and he literally chucked it out the back, and the penny dropped for me. And this was week 2.
That's interesting.
Went okay, and we all then sat as a team and went, let's make sure when we're delivering instructions that they're the right instructions and they're very clear. So you shouldn't underestimate what Jonathan's taught us, actually.
Oh, lovely.
And actually, that was going to be my next question. So with the rest of your team, how have you had to, I suppose, educate them to a degree to know how to manage the connection?
Well, we've done it for so many years, but it's always an evolution, and they, I drag them along with my great plan, but they love it, and they've, the same example, they've learned so much as well, and Jonathan is so integral to our team here, as is Eddie, as is all the other students that we have, employees that we have. But we learn with them, and that's the beauty of it, exactly. And nothing's off the table. So, probably on a week-by-week basis, we don't realise how we're picking skills up from Jonathan to help communicate perhaps someone with an ID. Mm-hmm. And equally, I'm sure Jonathan, as you say, exactly the same. Yeah. Because Jonathan's job role has changed. He's got more tasks, but it's seamlessly come in because he's got more confident, and we've got more confident in how we deliver those extra tasks. So yes, it's exciting where the future can be for him.
Oh, it's wonderful. Really amazing what you've done for him. I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank
it's
you very
fantastic.
much.
It makes such a difference. And he's got his own money. He can buy his own. He loves clothes. So this is, having that independence. He's planning to. He wants to go to New York, so he's going to save up to do that. He really has a sense of himself in the world, which I said this before again. It's so powerful.
But equally as well, though, the relationship we have, so I'm able to ring you on any time if I'm not sure that perhaps if I'm dealing with Jonathan in the right way, and every time you reassure me that it's fine. But that's nice.
You would know.
Really,
I promise you. If it wasn't right, he can't cope. If he can't cope, he can't cope. That's the other thing. Allowing. I mean, it hasn't ever happened here, interestingly. You manage him really well. I mean, but he does have other environments where, he has to go off and take 5 minutes to calm down, and actually maybe have some staff training so people do understand how to use language. Jonathan has language processing is difficult for him, and sometimes his memory's not good, so you might speak too quickly or give him too many instructions in one sentence. So all these things, if it's not there, he can go into. It can be really, really difficult for him. But that hasn't ever happened here, which is amazing. It is. It's phenomenal.
Oh, good.
So,
I always remember the first couple of weeks where you said to me that Jonathan had got his first few pay packets, and he'd said that how long would it take to save up for an Aston Martin?
That's
I think
right.
it was, wasn't it?
He got £20 on day one, I think it was, and he said, it's not enough for a car. And I said, do you mean a toy car? And he said, no, a big car. And that's the problem with money that he has. He's going to be embarrassed when he sees this. Sorry, Jonathan. But he does struggle with the value of money, but it's not important here because you've given him other tasks. It's you're using his abilities, not his disabilities. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much. And Stuart, honestly, I think we've said, the work that you're doing, honestly, it's inspirational. And
It is.
like I said, if there's one thing that we can achieve from this, we really want to kind of set the tone, don't we?
Absolutely,
And,
we need more Jonathans in employment, don't
We
we?
need more
Yeah.
Stuarts.
We
Well,
do.
And
We
actually,
do.
you can, it's not as difficult as people imagine. I think people have an expectation that it's going to be really hard, but it's not.
Yeah. Do you know, we need to stop, I think society is getting better. We need to stop looking at it like a barrier. And like I said before, it shouldn't be a tick box exercise. They're no different from us. They've just got a different, we have to value everyone's difference.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's
Thank you.
onwards.